Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our information session for people of color on town meeting. My name's Chi-Chi Wu, and I am with the Brookline Asian American Family Network and the Brookline Equity Coalition, which are the co-sponsors of this session. The Brookline Asian American Family Network was founded to support the needs of Asian and Asian American families in the Brookline schools. And the Brookline Equity Coalition is a grassroots coalition of individuals working to elect officials that support progressive policies in the upcoming May 2022 election. I'm really glad you're here today to learn about town meeting and learn about why you should care. We are joined today by the fabulous Deborah Brown. Deborah is a town meeting member and amazing speaker. She's actually so amazing. I have this rule, which is I don't speak after Deborah because that's just, you can't follow that act. Of course, I usually end up breaking that rule, but it's a privilege to do so. So before Deborah begins, I just wanted to give a very basics about Brookline and its governance structure. Just some 101s, ABCs. First of all, Brookline, it's a town, it's not a city. Now, the fact that it's not a city is a little odd. That's a whole other conversation. But what does this mean? It means we don't have a mayor. Instead of a mayor, we have a 5-member select board who are essentially volunteers because they get paid like $3,000 a year. So the person who actually implements the day-to-day operation of the town is someone called the town administrator. And then the legislative branch of the town is not a city council. It is town meeting. Town meeting, which is composed of currently 240, and it's going to be going up to 255 individuals. And that's why we're here. That's what we're going to talk about here today. The one other body that you should probably know about that gets elected is school committee. And they basically are the governance body for the Brookline Public Schools. So let's hear more about town meeting and turn it over to Deborah.
Chi-Chi, thank you so much for that introduction and overview of town government. You're very generous to me. I hope I can live up to your expectations. But, you know, what's town meeting and why should you care? So basically, what is town meeting and what does it decide? You know, that's what we're going to discuss. What does serving on town meeting mean? And why do we need people of color in town meeting? Excuse me, just demographics are an important piece of this and representation. Brookline is approximately 1/3 people of color at this point. And that's 68% white, non-Hispanic or Latinx. It's 17.3% Asian American, 2+ races, 4.6%, Latinx, 3.9%, African American, 2.95%, Native Americans, 0.18%, and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander. So we're a third. We're a third of the numbers, but much smaller when you look at town meeting. In fact, I would be shocked if we represent 5% of town meeting. Other factors that you should think about in terms of considerations is, you know, when I think about income in Brookline, I didn't realize that the median household income is $117,000. But maybe more importantly, 12.3% of residents in Brookline live below the poverty level. 29% are foreign born. And the median property value in Brookline in 2019 was $933,000. So and there's an ownership rate of 48.9%. That means that over 50% rent, over 50% rent. The broadband numbers look great on the surface. So if 96.6% of the people in Brookline have a computer in their home, but 93% have broadband, that means that 3.6% are without broadband. And anybody who has lived through COVID knows how important broadband is. 33% speak a language other than English in the home. 83% are college graduates. How many of you know somebody who is not a college graduate? And again, what does that mean around representation? So Chichi mentioned that everybody's up for re-election in town meeting. And I mean everybody. And it was because of an increase in population. And that creates a real opportunity for us. For one, 2 precincts are now majority minority. So that's precinct 2 and precinct 4. Precinct 2 has a population of 49% people of color. Precinct 4 has a population of 47.1 people of color. Again, I can name the town meeting members of color on 2 hands. Very quickly, the election schedule is, you can pull papers now. You've got to submit them by March 15th. The election is on May 3rd. You've got to collect 10 signatures. And if you don't know how to collect 10 signatures, we can help you collect 10 signatures. Do not worry about those 10 signatures. Anyone who's a registered voter in Brookline can run for town meeting. And so all you have to be is registered to vote. So what does this mean for people of color just running? If we represent 1/3 of the population of Brookline, then I would argue that no less than 20% of town meeting members should be people of color, just based on general representation. Far too often in town meeting, we find ourselves being ignored, having our issues voted down, or having to struggle to pass important and critical issues, whether it's, providing funding for the food pantry, arguing on behalf of affordable housing at Brookline Housing Authority, creating a process for community engagement, or oddly enough, but for people of color, we would not have a process whereby policies, meetings should be translated into languages other than English. It was a fight. It was a fight. So being a member of town meeting allows us to create a pressure. And not just a pressure in town meeting, but a pressure on select board to act to represent our issues. And again, as I said, funding for BHA, limiting, affordable housing construction. These are all things that we fight for every year, and we've had some success. Now, one of the things that I like to say is run, run, run. We need the voices. All politics is local. And in this case, these politics are local to your precinct. We can do this together. We can make these fundamental changes. Town meeting is not a function of giving up your firstborn. Let me tell you, you can do as little or as much as you want. We meet twice a year. We meet for 3 or 4 days in the evening. And guess what? You can attend those meetings from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't understand an issue, somebody will help you. Most of them are pretty straightforward. And so the idea that you have to be in 100 places at one time or attend meeting after meeting after meeting, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. You can attend the 2 meetings. You can put in as much research as you have the bandwidth to do. We ask that you show up understanding what the issues are, but you can do that. These are straightforward issues. And so file your papers, run, because this is our opportunity. With everybody up for election or re-election, there's no safe seats, and we should treat it as such. You are on the same par, an equal par, as somebody who's been serving in town meeting for 5 years, 10 years. And so I ask you, run. I look forward to seeing you at town meeting. And again, if you need any help, just contact us, and we will make it as easy as possible. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Deborah, for that presentation and for that rallying cry. I hope everybody on this meeting is ready to pull your papers and go run for town meeting. And as Deborah said, we're here to help you. If you need help with the signatures, we can help you do that. If you need to know which precinct you're in, you can actually find that out on wheredoivotema.gov. But if you don't even want to do that, just contact us. We'll tell you what precinct you're in. We'll give you some names of folks to get signatures. Just contact us. If you want to do it after this meeting, just email us at baffin1@gmail.com. That's BAAFN1@gmail.com. And we'll get back to you what precinct you're in, some names of folks. You have until March 15th to do this. Last year, I decided 3 days before signatures were due to run, got the signatures. We recommend you get a few more than just 10, just in case. So I got 17 signatures, easy peasy. And then running, you might be like, well, I can file papers, but what about running? Well, we can also help you do that. The Brookline Equity Coalition is going to be putting out materials, endorsing candidates. Certainly candidates of color are folks we want to support, and we really need you and your voice. I just want to say a few words. At the previous session, info session, there was a question, well, we've heard it can get quite contentious in town meeting and people get a challenge and attack, and I'm not sure I can deal with that. And I'm here to tell you it's okay. You don't have to deal with that. We're not asking you to get up and make speeches for every warrant article, which is basically the equivalent of a bill. What we're asking you to do is simply be a vote, be representative, participate and vote. But you don't have to get up there. You don't have to, do the drafting and sponsoring of warrant article, although that'd be great if you did want to, but you don't have to do that. There are those of us who are more than happy to get up, be vocal, and take those attacks. And Deborah and I both get those. And we're happy to do that, but we need your vote. So please run for town meeting. Thank you very much. And thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.